Oh my goodness, we are back in the building and I got so much on my mind this week. I'm telling you, whew, let me just breathe, let me exhale and let me get through this because Hall of Fame weekend was crazy. But I mean, thank you for coming back. No excuses, Ray Lewis Show. This is your first time, but if you used to coming back, you know what we're here to do. And I am super excited because I've had one of the most incredible up and down things, right? Losing someone, then going and seeing a bunch of brothers that you just really, really appreciate. And every second of life, you have an opportunity to run into people like who inspires you or who inspired you. And I tell you, I don't want to waste no time because I want to spend all the time with this guy that's coming on as my guest. When I tell you from high school to college, all the way through my professional career, he inspired me to be better. He inspired me to always keep my game up, take my game to the next level. Why? Because I knew he was always watching, just like I was watching him. Without further ado, Hall of Famer. I mean, when I say Hall of Famer, when I say the linebacker position, my brother, we're on the same team now. Welcome the great Derrick Brooks. D Brooks, what is going on, brother?
How are you doing, my friend? How are you doing, my friend? Audience, welcome in. You guys don't know, we've been waiting 30 years almost for this moment. Me and this man here finally got time to ourselves. But man, I am so humbled to be sharing with you today. And ever since we saw each other, you know, last week, it's like every time we see each other, it's just like we live next to each other. But man, it was special. It was special to spend time with you in Canton. And ever since you threw that invitation out to me last Thursday night, I said, I can't wait to get on the Ray Lewis Show. I can't wait. There's so much I want to say to the people about how this, you talk about, everyone knows competition drives us. Competition drives us great. But ladies and gentlemen, I think me and this man took it to a different level. I'm talking about, my God, man, we're going to get into the story. But I'm going to wait.
You're giving away the goodies early.
I'm buckling up.
Bro, let me tell you something. And for everybody out there, I'm telling you, I come out of high school and I go to Florida State for my visit. And there's this greatness that's at Florida State. And this greatness was Derrick Brooks. And I never forget, the defensive coordinator walked me in there. And me and you talk about this every time we see each other. And he walked me in there and he was like, we love you. We love you, man. We think you got some great potential, put a couple of pounds on you. But we have somebody here who's very special. And you're going to have to play behind him for 2 years. And by your junior year, you'll be ready to play. And I said, huh? And man, I say, but how you know I ain't better than him right now? And I got up and told Florida State I'm out. And got on a plane and got a $39 from my cousin, Shannon Baker. And I got on a plane And I came back home, and my coach almost lost his mind.
Yes.
D. Brooks, my question is, because you know I'm going to start some of this. My question is, why didn't you turn out to be a hurricane?
Well, I'm going to tell you guys this. My situation was very similar to Ray's when I had my time to go to Miami. And I grew up loving the Miami linebackers. You talking about Smith, Crum, Armstead, Barrow. Man, you talk about, I was like, man, those guys, they flying around, they hitting, they talking noise. This is what I was doing up in Pensacola, Florida. I absolutely loved it. So on and Coach Keogh, Art Keogh, man, love him to death.
Yeah.
Recruiting me. And Coach came, he said, Derrick, he said, right now, don't, everyone's going to say you're too small, but damn that. You're a football player. You make plays. You're an impact player. I want you on the team. I said, Coach, man, I love Miami. I mean, everything about Miami, from Miami Vice, to the team, I'm all in. It got beaches, just like Pensacola. Man, the coach said, well, you're going to have to compete now. I said, Coach, compete. That's who I am. Yeah. He said, well, you may end up be waiting your turn as you compete. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we got a guy, he in the wings by the name of Jesse Armstead. I said, I know, coming out of Texas, I know who Jesse Armstead is. I want to see how good he is. It'll probably be about 18 months after you get there before we find that out. I said, wait a minute, what? He said, Jesse pretty much he's ready to go, so you can learn a lot from him. I said, Coach Keogh, I'm gonna learn. You can learn a lot from me right now. I'm done. Can I get back to Pensacola, Florida? I said, I'm not coming to Miami. I said, I'm gonna see how good he is by playing against him. Oh my God, and here it is. Almost 2 years later, you get the exact same conversation about it. But that's just who we are. That's just how we was built, man.
This was crazy though, D. This was crazy, right? So same situations we go through. And then we actually run into each other, right? And it's like, and we looking at each other like, game on, game on. And every week I'm like this. I'm picking up the paper like this. I'm in the tackle. Yeah. I'm in the tackle. 10, 9, 10. Oh, yeah, 10 this week. I need 15 this week. and I'm telling you, bro, throughout my entire career, I'm like, man, I got to check D. Brooks' stats, man. Then I'm like, man, this man caught a pick and went to the crib. Man, it's a lot going on.
So, man, but I tell you what, that was Joe. I'm doing the same thing in Tampa. Yeah. So, but here's the thing. I got Warren Sapp with me. So I got Sapp, you got to call your guy. Get the insides, man. This paper saying he had 19 tackles. Ain't no way he had 19 tackles. I was so sick about competing against Ray Lewis. Once we got into this league together, man, we was pushing each other. We knew what we were doing, but neither one of us said anything about it. Right. We just was kind of doing it. So I go back and pull up the Baltimore defense, and now I got my pen out. Oh, that's an assist. That's not an assist. So I'm trying to take tackles away from Ray just because I'm competing against him, man. I mean, it was that drive to be the best. And I used to always tell whether it was Junior Seau coming up at the time.
Yeah.
Whether it was Laverne up in Pittsburgh, our big guy. I say, hey guys, we coming. I say the big backers, that downhill, that all they want to do is hit fullbacks versus making tackles and making plays. That's us. We the new version of the linebackers here in the 4-3 defense. Yeah. And they're like, oh, y'all gonna wait your turn. Man, we heard that back in the early 90s. We beyond that. And June used to say, Derrick, you're right. We see it coming. I mean, you guys you ball. I say, now share some knowledge with me. Give me your knowledge. Give it to me because I'm gonna have to give it back to somebody else. So man, it was that competition and that boldness, I think, that just pushed us.
This is why I wanted to ask you this, right? Because a lot of people look at competition and sometimes they take it the wrong way. I really think the reason why our relationship was the way it was is because we had so much respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Take off the field out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm just talking about as a human being, right? Yeah. Derrick Brooks called me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting up to see what Derrick Brooks needs at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes. And that's what I think it was, bro. Like it's something I'm teaching on my show called championship mentality. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to have a championship mentality? What inspired Derrick Brooks? What was that fire in Derrick Brooks that made Derrick Brooks get up every day and want to come back to work to be the best?
Well, I always took my championship mentality to start with my work ethic. My work ethic. And it was, hey, how can I be the first to do this? Mm-hmm. How can I set the standard for doing this? Yeah. And I think my championship attitude comes from the fact that I embrace leadership. I didn't run from it. Not at all. I embraced it. Some people, when it gets to the role of leadership, they tell themselves, I'm not a leader. I don't want that responsibility of that role. Well, I always been, hey, I understand me as a leader, and I want the leadership role. Yeah. I want the light shining on me when the moment's the biggest. Mm-hmm. I want to be the one in a team sport when it comes to pass and fail. Yeah. I want to be that guy. Because a lot of people say, I want the ball when everything's going right, we can pass. I always say, I want the ball when we fail. Because everybody can't pick everybody else up. I want to be that guy that I know I could pick others up. And that's when I had that championship moment, those championship traits you're talking about within a leader. A leader got to be ready, man, to go in the fire and deal with failure. They got to be the ones to inspire people when things are not going right and they don't change, because others are going to change. They're going to be like the wind. The environment going to dictate their motivation. The motivation not going to be from within. So I think God has put certain people in situations that embrace that moment because he knows they can handle the failures better than they can handle the championship moments. Championship moments, get those to my teammate. Let them talk about those. Give me the failures, because I want to make sure we don't get off track. I want to make sure that we're going to pull things back together and stay in these moments, and others can't do it. You know, I want to be the guy when the ship going down. Hey, man, I want to be the guy that's keeping people calm, cool, collective in those situations, not panic. And I think I embraced it when, you know, Coach Dungy, he phrased it for me when I talked to him about it. Mm-hmm. He said, champions always are poised in the noise. When things are loudest, when things are going array, a champion, a leader, that's when they do their best work in their quietest moment. Everybody can't focus in the chaos. Everybody. You say poise in the noise. So I think for me, that championship mentality is that, along with my work ethic. Man, I always feel like, hey, it's somebody out there, man, that I can't see, I can't touch, I can't feel. They're out there working to take my job. Yeah. There's a 15-year-old out there that this is all he has. Here I am, 21, 22 in the league. Yeah. I can see my competition that's in the league. I just go put on tape. I go learn from Ray Lewis. I go to see Junior Seau. Yeah. But I can't see that 15-year-old that's saying football is all he has. Yes. He eats, sleep, and breathe because this is his way out. Mm-hmm. That guy want my job. I want to be out there working just as hard as him to say, hey, I want to welcome you to the show, but I ain't getting off the stage. That was drove me, man, to get up early, stay late, and the accountability piece of a championship. You talking about championship mentality, you talking about accountability, you step on a lot of toes with that. Because people say they want to be champions, but they don't want that accountability when it comes to what it takes to be a champion. No, they don't want that. Hey, sometimes champions going to take you getting hit in the mouth, bloody, and you got to find a way to throw another punch. You know, championship moments, man, going to take when you got to step back and know when to be a follower. Hey, it's your time to lead. You go do this. Hey, is your part of the show. Championship moments and leaders understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, man, God has blessed me to be around it, because I had a great player that played next to me. Played in front of you for 3 years.
Yes, sir.
Warren Sapp.
Yes, sir.
Warren, as great a player he is, want to tell you, hey, man, I'm a great player. I'm not a leader. You got to go talk to number 55.
Yep.
You got to go talk to him. And the respect that you talk about, that's what we had. So I'm building in him as being a champion to know, hey, it's Sapp time. And then on top of that, go tap him on the shoulder. Hey, big fella, it's your time to go.
Yeah.
It's your time to go. I need to see more. Yeah. We need more out of you. Mm-hmm. He'll look back and say, I ain't got enough. Nah, it's more in the tank. Mm-hmm. And he said, how you know that? I said, because I got up at 5:30 and I did those reps for you. I need to see you work. Let's go get it done. And I be damn, man, he tapped that cheek, that right cheek behind him, and I knew it was on. I knew it was on. I knew it was
on.
Anytime
he tapped that cheek, I'm telling you some problems in front of him.
You know it. He tapped that.
Well, we both had front row seats to that.
Yes.
Bro, we had front row seats to that.
Many people didn't know what that means.
Right, absolutely. What was your emotion? What was your emotion seeing John Lynch go into the Hall of Fame?
Man, it was a sigh of relief. That's what it was for me, for him. Of the three of us, myself, Sapp, he waited the longest because he retired the earliest. Yeah. And, you know, I think he was coming to a space, Ray, where he was starting to accept failure and disappointment when it got to this. Yeah. I think he was starting to let this process break his spirit. And that's where I started to, you know, challenge Lynch in that, say, man, we're mentally tough. Yeah. Man, you're one of the most mentally tough men I know. You can't let this process break you. Right. You can't. I say, if you give up on you, or you're giving up on the process. Right. He said, Derrick, no, I'm giving up on the process. I say, well, why not keep hope in the process? There's always hope. Always. I think Lynch was starting to reach that moment, especially last year with the team, but 2 years ago when they were in the Super Bowl, they were in Miami. Yeah. He just felt from all those writers around him telling him, hey, this your year, this your year. The team's in the Super Bowl, and he started to let those things affect the process, and that was real disappointment. Yeah, and that was one of the ones that, man, I had to go to the hotel that Saturday night, man, and just sit with him and pray with him, and I just prayed for strength. And I said, hey, Lynch, don't give up, man. I'm not giving up on the process. I carry your torch. I understand the emotion of it. So I started thinking about that, man, when he got that call and his wife called me and Lord knows she told me I had to keep the secret for 3 days. And I talked to him for 3 straight days. You know, boy, you know how hard that was not to tell him. And he was talking about these things, Ray. Yeah. Don't know, man. Derrick, I know you told me don't let it break me, but what else can I do? Man, you know, he was about to be a broken man. And I was so ready to say, my brother, you're not broken. You're born in mortality. But I did my part, man. I held that secret, and to see him, I mean, from slipping on that jacket and I told him, it ain't the respect that we give you as teammates. Yep. I said, Lynch, take a moment to embrace the respect for the guys that played against you. 1,000%. And then the respect from the guys that shoulders we standing on that played this game years before we did. Yep. I say, man, that's the respect. That's the feeling I want you, man, to be a part of, because that's what was there for me. I said, I only had one teammate when I went in, and that was Sapp. Yep. I had a chance to fully embrace how all the other guys, man, welcomed me in that I played against, and to see and feel that love of being a part of football, immortality. So those were the things that I was thinking about, man, from him. And when he ended that speech, man, speaking to the world to say, there's a white guy from San Diego, California. Yeah. There's a country boy from Pensacola, Florida. Yeah. And there's a loudmouth from Apopka, Florida. If the three of them can come together, well, we can make this country a better place. We can make this country great. And that was Man, that was just as powerful, man, as I got EJ telling me that I'm inmate 281 now.
I'm inmate 315, baby. Bro, when I tell you, I wish the young kids or the young players that's playing now can sit in that meetings in those rooms and not say nothing and observe the greatness that we walk and see every time we walk into the Hall of Fame.
Man, it's beautiful.
It's something that you notice, right? Less than 1% of the world will ever see this. Ever. Mm-hmm. We're talking about less than 354 now. We're talking about immortality. We're talking about something that I was sitting there and I do it every time. So me and Troy Polamalu, we was talking. And Troy looked at me, he said, "Ray, look at him and look at him." And I said, I get it. Because me and you was kids when they was doing this.
Yes.
And it's like, man, you looking at Lynn Swan, you looking at Franco Harris, man, you looking at legends of legends. And I guess my thing is the reason why I think the reason why I've always respected your game seriously is because I saw me in you. But I see the same me in Marcus Allen. I see the same you in Tony Dorsett. I see it all. You know what I'm saying? Like yes. It's an ingredient that only a few of us have, right? Mm-hmm. What's that ingredient, D? Like, what's that ingredient? I think it's a lot of things, but I want to know from you, what's that ingredient, that greatness, that Hall of Famers? What do we have that the ones that let it go, right? You've heard the cliche a lot of times, right? The saddest thing in this world is wasted talent.
Yes.
Right? And so you see people with so much talent, but they'll never reach this level because of why?
I'll use two words, Ray. Yeah. I would say discipline and grind.
Wow.
I would say discipline and grind.
Wow.
I think those are the two things that I feel are part of those two words that's in all of us as human beings. Mm-hmm. But the second piece of that, when it comes to grind, is taking that other stratosphere. It's that good player that's going to that great player being a Hall of Fame. That's what it is, because that discipline takes people. That discipline is not just, clanging and banging on those weights.
Right.
That discipline is you deciding that you are going to do something every single day, whether it was you making a disciplined decision. I'm not going to let anything stop me from waking up, in my case, at 5:30 every day. I'm not hitting the snooze button.
Yep.
I'm getting up. I know something I got to do. The discipline of doing it. Yep. Discipline, man, to stay down on your knees and praying.
Yeah.
The discipline to do that at all moments.
Day and night.
Day and night. And then it's that grind that go with that discipline in all areas. I'm not just talking about a football field.
Right.
Every discipline takes a grind.
Yeah.
And now when you marry the two together, you say, these are my disciplines. I have to grind through that discipline. And that grind is not just the physical work.
It's not.
It's the mental grind.
Yes.
It's a mental grind because you're grinding through all these decisions that's coming to you that's trying to get you off of your disciplines.
Yeah.
You're grinding through that mess. You're grinding through those distractions. Mm-hmm. You're grinding through those priorities to make sure you have a certain lane of discipline to accomplish what you want to accomplish. You're grinding through a certain level of discipline that gets you not from point A to Z, but from point A to B to C to D to E to F to understand it's the discipline of the grind.
Every step of the way.
And you're not trying to skip a step.
You ain't trying to take no shortcuts.
No, that wasted talent, that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go deep every play.
Every play.
Instead of, hey, one play, I just got to stand up here and catch a hitch.
Yes.
I got to catch a hitch and make somebody miss. Or I may have to go catch a 5-yard slant and take a hit to set up a 75-yard bomb.
Right.
That's that way. Everybody's not just take that step. And that's one of the things I learned from listening to Joe Montana. when Joe Montana, I heard a speech he gave, and he talked about Super Bowl moments and the success of the West Coast offense in Bill Walsh. He said Bill Walsh built discipline where you had to take your time and grind down the field at certain points in the game. You had to take the check down. You had to catch the slants. He talked about how Jerry Rice and John Taylor would take little routes and turn them into big ones to set up the deep posts in the third and fourth quarter over the top of the defense. Think about the greatness of our defense.
Oh, boy.
What we made teams do. Huh? They couldn't grind.
They couldn't grind.
They couldn't grind against us. No. You got to go through every blade of grass on this field to score a touchdown. You're not going to beat us deep. We're not giving up explosion plays.
We're not giving up explosive plays.
No, sir. You're going to have to 1 yard us, 2 yard us to death, but you got to go through 99 plays to do it. And you can't do it. You can't. We built better for that than you. So I think you take that same greatness, and I'm going to cheat and use 2 words. I think those 2 secret ingredients in my world is grind and discipline. Yeah. Discipline to grind, man. Most people, you can't take no shortcuts, and I think that's probably some of the most thing when I think of wasted talent. I think someone try to take shortcuts. And the other thing, again, I could go here with you because as competitors are, man, we men of God competing in the same world. Absolutely. Some people, they get confused on what God has given them as a talent and what God has given them as a gift. My goodness. That is, man, that is something that you got to recognize that your talent and your gift are not the same thing. They're not the same thing. No, they're not. My talent was playing football. That's it. Sports. Mm-hmm. My gift is giving back. My goodness. That's God's gift. God's gift to me is to have that spirit of giving. You got the same gift. Doing servant leadership. That has nothing to do with my talent of playing on the football field. I use that talent. God gave me that talent to stand on that stage to serve his gift and giving back. And I use it. I give men a physical example of this. Yeah. I say on every jersey, I've yet to see their name beneath a number. That number belongs to the team. That name belongs to you. That's why you is above that number. Yes, sir. But the minute you start thinking your talent and gift align, you bring your name and infusion with that number. Yes, sir. What you got there is confusion. And confusion creates chaos. Chaos creates a mess. A mess creates a spill. A spill is an issue that can't be solved. My goodness. You need God's help then. I said, now God gets you out of your issues. But why? Why go back to the genesis of that? Right. Get that name away from that number. Don't go through that confusion. And too many times, Ray, that's the world we in. That's the world we in. And I'm gonna keep fighting. I'm gonna keep fighting that to let men and women know. In the world of sports, your name is above that number. Absolutely. For a reason. That's why the book of Proverbs says a great name is rather chosen, not a great number. But yes, right? Yes. Right? That's what your purpose is, right? That's why the gift, right? The gift runs hand in hand because it actually gives you access to the purpose. Yes. The talent opens the door to an opportunity. Oh, right? I'll write that down. You preach. Keep going. Don't you stop. Don't you stop with me. Don't stop. But think about it. Most people, that's why most people get frustrated with jobs, right? Because a talent can get you a job, but your gift is the only thing can usher you into your purpose. Yes. And that's why people stay stuck. Because we really believe that my job can make me happy. My job can't make me happy. My job can only set up me to go to the next level or use it to get to where I'm trying to go. D, I'm telling you, bro, this is why I've been wanting to talk to you, because we think so much alike. But I'm trying to tell people it's not sports.
It's not sports that make men like you and men like myself the men we are. It's because we believe everything that God has said. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He says, a great name is rather chosen. He said, no weapon formed. But sometimes that we get caught up in the rat race of life to where we believe the number is more relevant than the purpose.
No, you can't do it, man.
And once you get there, it's a different battle. It's a different battle, bro. Look, I gotta go here because I know, man, we will turn this into Bible study really quick. like really quick. But this is when I hear you speak, like, and you know this, right? Because if we was in church, we'll be saying, preach.
Oh, Dick. You gotta do.
That's when you stand up in church and just hold your hand like this here.
Yes.
Because you know he's speaking the gospel. Bro, look, I'll never forget when Sap hit me up, man, and he said, bro, look, and you know him, he always like this competition thing, right?
Yes.
And he always like this competition thing. So he hit me on text. He was like, all right, now, you know, this Bucs defense now, we coming. We coming, right? I don't compare nothing. But what I think made Tampa so dominant is that you guys had a togetherness that was never questioned, right? When you saw you play, when you saw your ability from a weak side backer to come on the opposite side hash and pick a Rich Gannon off, or when you seen a John, I'm just telling you, like, when you watch it, what's missing in today's game from those defenses that we had?
Well, the one thing, and I would say that and I'm glad you said we don't compare.
We don't compare.
No, we don't compare. We connect. And that's the thing that I, share when I'm talking. Hey, was it 2000 Ravens or the 2002 Bucs?
Yeah.
What you guys got to understand is attitude. Let's not be defeated and say today's an offensive game.
No,
it's not.
It's not.
The game's a game of football.
That's it.
Period.
Yeah.
If anything showed that, the Bucs defense of 21 showed that in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's still
a defensive game.
A defensive game.
The greatest show we've ever seen in the last 5-7 years. They did not score a touchdown.
It's still a defensive game. If they don't score, they don't win.
They don't win.
So it's still a defensive game. I think what's missing now, Ray, is if these young men are defeated in their minds, get in the field saying it's an offensive game, offensive guys going to get the call, offense. You're setting up one of the barriers right there before you even hit the field as an individual.
Yeah.
You guys collectively thinking like that as a team, you're putting yourselves behind the 8 ball from your attitude standpoint. The other thing I think is really missing is fundamentals.
Fundamentals.
Fundamentals. The fundamentals, man. It's what happened to feet, stand, start, read, run, react. What happened to that?
What happened to that?
What I look at linebackers now, and I look at, and I'll share this. I was sharing this with the 2 Bucs guys. 2 young, Levante David
and White,
vets, Devin White, young up and coming. I shared this 3 days ago. I said, gentlemen, if you guys don't go back and start back with your stances, I say your guys' stances are terrible. I said, go back to the basic fundamentals of how you position yourself as a linebacker on this field. Start with your stance. Stance alignment, assignment, run, read, react. Those things does not change. I said, I've just watched 2 practices, and I'm looking at your guys' stances, and I can relate to the 4 plays that each and every one of you miss starts back with your stance.
Because they standing straight up.
Get your back. These particular feet was offset. Your feet be offset. You're both playing in the middle. You're not disguising. I said, I can see you moving around. I say, but get back to a position of foundation. So overall speaking, I think the fundamentals are missing in today's game from a defensive source. It's your attitude, your fundamentals, and then the third thing from a linebacker standpoint, they've not made the adjustment to now today is about more tackling, bringing the guy down, and trying to knock somebody out.
That's right.
You're trying to knock somebody out now. These guys are so athletic now, they bouncing off and keep going.
Absolutely.
You got to get them hands around another grown man. And you, as I like to say, you got to bring him very close and very intimate. You got to get intimate with him, and then you got to go down.
Like a lion.
Yes. Yes. I said, have you never yet to see a lion kill from a distance?
You can't
lion kill right there, right at the throat. He kisses every kill. So you got to kiss every tackle. Just like a lion kiss every kill.
Yeah.
Right? You get them arms around, get them paws around, take them down to the ground, baby.
I'm gonna add one thing to everything you said, because everything you just said was what I watched in the game, the fundamentals. But when I tell you, I don't know the last time I've seen a defense outside of this past Tampa one. They were really good because Todd Bowles. The communication on the field, gee whiz, I watch every helmet look straight at, they look, I don't know what they're looking at, but they never talk to each other.
Right.
and I'm like, you don't want to tell your teammate what's coming? You don't want to say what's next?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been doing these camps for years, man, at IMG, and with all these kids. And when I get with these kids, I'm like, what are you watching? What do you see? Are you reading the triangle? Are you going guard back? Yeah. Right? Are you reading that triangle? Because the false steps in the game. And that's why offenses are scoring so many points. I'm telling you, that's why so many runs. D. Brooks, you got to think about your defense, our defense. Once you got to a certain point, D, we went almost 3 years without seeing 100-yard rushing. That's mentality. That's communication on the field, D. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody gonna just come run the ball when we sitting over there.
Why keep that information to yourself?
Why keep it to yourself?
You know, it was so, communication was so strong, man. I remember one time McAllister, man, one game, he's over here pressed alignment, takes a peek inside, sees something. He's yelling to you guys from the right corner position. He's yelling something that he saw. Saw this on tape, man, when you was talking about communication, thinking about it. I said, man, McAllister yelling something. It wasn't even to the say, it was right down the line.
Yeah.
To a D line. And I saw McCrary go from a three-point stance, looks out, get the communication, and gets to a two-point stance.
To a 2-point.
Gets in, makes the play, bounce it out, and Chris comes up, gets the pick because the quarterback has to make the adjustment, gets the pick.
Yeah. And
I was like, man, that play so vividly. Remember, I don't know what Chris yelled. He was from a press. Looks inside, sees something, gives a communication. Man, Mike gets up. Writing gets up from a 3-point to a 2-point stance. And I'm like, man, I'm like, damn, what did he see? But to your point, Ray, the communication, that's what got better.
Yes.
With the Bucks from week 8.
Yep.
The second half of the Atlanta game, on their Super Bowl run, those next 3 games, all the way into the playoffs, you started to see the movement of the secondary. You started to see the backers start their stances in place, playing better in space around the defense. Yep. The mental errors go down. And now, so now in conversation with Coach Bowles, I'm like, Coach, the communication's starting to be crisp, be clean every week. He said, yeah, Derrick. He said, not only are they starting to understand, he said, but I'm starting to see a few more cars in the parking lot after practice.
Because that's when you know it's real.
Now, I don't know if that's the Brady effect,
the
Bowles effect, the Bruce Arians effect, but that communication to the coach noticing what they are doing away, spend a little bit more time watching film. Now, that was part of one of our secret sauces, Ray, here in Tampa for years. You would have a pocket of at least 3 or 4 guys spread around the building watching tape together.
Absolutely.
We did a pretty good job of that My entire, very rarely did you find one guy watching tape on his own.
Absolutely.
Very rarely, man. Very rarely.
Can
you
Tampa,
guys,
can Tampa, is Tampa the favorite to go back to back?
I got to say that now, man, by the defense. It has nothing to do with the offense.
Right.
Has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with 12, 81, 13.
They stacked over there on defense right now.
On defense, man, I'm watching these young players.
Yeah.
That 3-year vet, Sean Murphy-Burney, Jamal Dean.
Yeah.
I'm watching that 2nd-year vet, Whitfield Jr. I'm watching Morris secondary. I'm watching those guys. That's taking that step now. They're making plays in practice, man, down here that you're starting to see. Now, naturally, first few weeks of training camp, defense always going to be ahead of the offense.
Always.
Yeah, we got a few calls to make. We make 3 or 4 defenses, and we getting out of their butts. We're gonna always dominate the first 3 weeks of training camp. But I'm starting to see these young men, man, especially on that back end.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they picked up where they left off.
Yeah.
So I look at their defense and I say, man, I give them the best because I look NFC defense right now.
Yeah.
Outside of Washington, I think they won the top 1 or 2. The Bucs defense, they had 1 or 2. I put now the Redskins, they're pretty good too, but they don't have obviously other phases of
Washington football team.
Yep, my bad, Ray. Washington football team. Excuse me. Hey, don't tweet my guy Ray Lewis. We Washington football team, okay? WFT, we got it. But I think Washington, their defense is good. But to your point, if you put my hand on the fire and made me give you a team right now, I will give you the Bucs.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go. But I gotta ask because the people want to know. Derrick Brooks and Ray Lewis on the same field. Who ends up with the most tackles?
I don't know. We talked about that. Ladies and gentlemen. Ray contract was coming up in 1999, 2000. We talked about it. Brooks' contract was coming up in 01, 02. We talked about it. It's like, man, is it possible?
Is it possible?
We talked about it. I would love,
brother,
to go through that with you, brother. I would love, because I think, man, I know we pushed each other from afar.
Yeah.
But if we on the same team, man, I would have loved to see how we pushed each other.
Yeah.
And I would love to see, man, how we just sit back and learn from each other.
Absolutely.
Because there's some moments I just sit there and learn. There's some moments you sit there and learn. So, man, that would have been a beautiful experience, man, for us in our playing days. I would have loved that opportunity, man, to push you to every limit I possibly could, man. But hey, I want to ask you one question before I go.
Go ahead.
Because I've got to ask this question. I've got to ask this question, man, by some young men.
Go ahead.
They said, Derrick Brooks, what do you think motivates Ray Lewis outside of his mother? I said, I'll give you the answer. I say, when I come across Ray, I'm going to ask him that. Somebody saw the picture that somebody posted a picture me and you took this past weekend. They sent that in a comment to me. They said, what do you think motivates Ray Lewis outside of his mother? And I said, I was going to ask you that question today.
But that's really an easy answer, right? Because you were in the same position I was in, right? We were supposed to be quote unquote too small. Right? We were supposed to not be the prototype, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the way they wanted you to play the game. And I remember saying this when I was young, D. Brooks, at the University of Miami at 17 years old. I said, listen, man, I will be the greatest to ever do this. But I meant that. And so to answer it easy, I never had a plan B.
Yeah.
I only had plan A. Right? God showed me something, and this I'm gonna end with this with you because I want you to go backwards. But God showed me something early, and He won't give you all of the vision.
Right.
He'll show you enough of it, And I seen something And he said this to me, D. Brooks. He said, it's going to be tough. The road will be rough. And I said, my gosh. But I have never stopped to think about what if I didn't do what I was doing. Right? Everybody around me who did not accomplish, I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest. But D. Brooks, I'm going to tell you something. Just like yourself, bro, your number one thing when I first asked you, this is why I said me and you in the same field. I just never saw a man that could just flat out outwork me. That was my push. My push was, why wait? I don't want to wait. I want to get on this side of life and know that I left. That's why people ask me all the time, do you miss the game? Absolutely not. I gave the game everything I had. Every hour, every minute, it got it out of me. And that's why, bro, like every day motivates me because it's not just a better football player. And this is why I'm coming right back to you, because it's not just a better football player. I always wanted to know that I made God proud because I trusted him in my darkest hours. Right? Like, and that's when you said it earlier, right? True leaders in the darkness, that's when they show up.
Well, that's it.
And that for me has always motivated me to say, it may not be the way I want it to be, and it may be very uncomfortable where I'm at, but I ain't turning away from you no matter what. And that's, to this day, bro, outside of moms, that's the number one driving force for me, is to complete my race.
Man, I can't wait to share that with this young man. I can't wait to share that. Well, you got my blood boiling, man. You got my blood boiling. But let me just honestly just say here, man, we say thank you.
No, bro.
Thank you for being the competitor you are. Thank you for being my friend.
Yep.
And thank you for being the leader you are.
Yeah, brother.
Man, you're one of my prayer warriors that I continue to ask God to build into you, man, as you lead. Yeah. To lead this message, because the role of leadership is not for everybody.
It ain't.
Those few that God has chosen to be in that role, we're going to keep lifting each other up, man, in prayer and having fun while we do it, man. Having fun like this.
Yeah.
While we do it.
See, we've been doing this now. We've been doing this now since 1993, D. We've been doing this a very long time.
Yes.
But God is faithful, man. And brother, listen, I love you to death, D. I'm telling you, man. Let's talk more.
Yeah.
Keep each other in prayer. We send texts of prayers. Yeah. Let's talk more. Keep each other accountable. Let's live the best life we can as Hall of Famers.
Amen. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
I love you, brother. The great Derrick Brooks. I'm gonna tell you, that guy inspires me so much. And I'm telling you, I said this on and off the field, just simply because of who he is. It's something when you find someone at a very early age that actually inspires you and you see them take on the task of greatness. I want to hurry up and go to checking in and just check in and tell you, like, being around greatness, it gives you an opportunity. And you know what the opportunity is? Is to make absolutely no excuses. That's what being around greatness does. And every time you're introduced to someone speaking to you, you have to ask yourself a question. When are you going to become the speaker? When are you going to become the leader? When are you going to go the extra mile? I want to bring my coach in here because championship mentality is on my spirit right now. Coach, I know you've been on vacation, but I need you to get in here. We're going to jump in real quick because I just really got done speaking to greatness and I watched it. I watched this man. This man was the reason why my entire path changed. Right? Because, my entire road was different because of his name. Imagine that, right? I had never met him, but his name was great.
You always had respect for Derrick Brooks, man. I remember in the early 2000s, we had a golf tournament that we went to. It was a long time ago that he invited you to, but you wanted to train the weekend he was having a golf tournament. So I was blessed to go there as well. And I think about those defenses from an NFL fan perspective. Yeah. And it's amazing, man. But more importantly, he's a man of God, man.
That's it.
A man of God.
That's
That's just been the overwhelming thing for me. He's a great human being, but he's also a lion and he's a warrior, and he'll knock your head off. I love it.
Absolutely. And that's why this week we're going to jump into real quick. We're back, and I hope you guys are ready to go deeper and deeper and deeper. But this week it's about the importance of cardiovascular training and conditioning. Coach, I want you to jump in because this is what you do. How important is cardiovascular training?
It's so important, Ray, that it's the #1 killer in the United States, man.
Wow.
#1, heart disease. It's amazing. And the sad part is that it can be prevented the best that it can by doing this cardiovascular. And, we like to keep it practical on this show. Cardiovascular is simply, in simple terms, the physical conditioning of your heart and your lungs and your blood vessels associated with it, just getting your whole circulatory system working. When you're getting a cardiovascular workout, it's a great workout for your whole body. Yeah. And so for those that are now, as we transitioning over to the body, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the importance of nutrition. That was amazing. But now we're breaking it down aspects of a program. And this cardiovascular rate, with that being the #1 killer in America, it's so important for us to incorporate that in any exercise program that you're doing.
Do you remember when we started training with Papa's son, who's Lauryn Hill's father, that we was actually getting connected to machines, me and Ed? And he was talking about you guys are in Navy SEAL type shape.
Yes.
Do you understand the mentality of when you can be in that type of shape?
Wow.
Right? Like I want somebody to get this, right? Because you've been procrastinating about going to the next level and starting your training regimen and all of these, New Year's resolutions and all these things that you say you do, that you're going to start. But I'm gonna share something with you. When you create a cardiovascular life, your mentality changes immediately, right? You become a different individual, bro. That you look at life differently. When you have that up under your belt, when you know you're in better shape than anybody that's going to try you in anything, everything changes, Coach.
Hey, to me, that was your key, bro. I used to get the messages all the time. Why Ray doing all that dancing before the game, man? We need him to save that energy, man. We gonna need him. And I'm saying to myself, they have no idea what the conditioning that we was under. Our whole program was conditioning. Of course, there's always gonna be somebody, like you even said earlier, they fast, they got real quick feet. Yeah. But can you do that 20 times? Can you do that 30 times at that same pace? Yeah. I never forget the conditioning test that the Ravens sent you, and they was like, okay, Ray, we got this conditioning test. Yeah. They're going to be time now, Ray. You got to be in condition for this. We getting messages, people failing the conditioning test. They fail it. Oh, it's going to be tough. To our people out there, what we did was Ray said, you know what? This conditioning, these 6-150s, let's do it on the sand and timing. So for off season, maybe a good 2 months of that off season, we was doing the conditioning test on sand.
With a 25-pound weight vest on.
With the vest on. Conditioning, cardiovascular. By the time we got to the test, and this is a real inside story. I was feeling so good, man. I'm telling you, I felt like I could make the kickoff team that year. And we walked in there, and he said, okay, Ray, let's do your test. And I said, you mind if I just run a little bit? I'm gonna be on the side. I want to do it with you. He was like, oh, you can do it, no problem. I'm gonna be over here timing Ray. And I ran that test with Ray, man. And Papa's son, he was like, you guys are in Navy SEAL shape. And to me, that might have been the best shape of my life to this day. Yeah. But it was because of the conditioning. So while people out there that, some people just like to lift weights or they just like to do yoga, you want to make sure that you're getting the conditioning for your heart and your lungs, some type of cardiovascular. For us, it was running. It was running on that sand. For Ray now, it's cycling. I suggest that you do something that you could stick to for a long time. Yours might be dancing. It might be rowing. It might be elliptical machine. Yeah. But don't be so confined to that treadmill as your cardiovascular. There's plenty of things you could do to make
Yeah, see, conditioning, like, it's one thing about the physical, right? But think about what you feel like, T, after you get done with a really intense cardio workout, right? Like when I get off my bike, I'm a different person. Like I'm just totally different. I'm free. I'm stress free. I'm worry free. Right? I'm prayed up. I'm motivated. I'm like everything about me has changed. My mental. You talk about mental health. A lot of people always speak about mental health. I'm gonna tell you something the cardiovascular does. Cardiovascular introduce you to mental wealth. When you're able to have mental wealth, that's an entirely different conversation. I'm telling you, we're not going to be here long because you got to understand this. Everybody that's paying attention to this and trying to change or trying to go to the next level, you have to find a cardiovascular system that you can do for the rest of your life. Now that's between you and you, right? That's our motto. That's between you and you. But you have to find something that you can do for the rest of your life. And that's why I committed to cycling. And that's why, as bad as it hurt, I'm telling you, the times, the moments of doubt, the moments of this too hard or I never figured out. I'm telling you, when you commit to that, this is what changes. Your swagger change. The way you put on your clothes, it don't even matter what you look like. It matters what you feel like.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you know what I'm talking about, Coach. Many times we get done working out and we look at each other and we say, bro, you all right? And you look back, I say, bro, I'm good. You say, we'll see you in the morning. That's a lifelong commitment.
Mm-hmm. And still doing it.
That we still living it. So
but man, you was right, Ray, talking about you feeling good after and talking about the mental connection. It released those endorphins, man, those feel good. I tell people all the time, it's the most underutilized antidepressant
in the world.
Yeah, if you feeling down, you feeling depressed, go out and get you some nice cardio, man. Yeah. And if you just starting off and if you walking, just walk faster. Can't make it comfortable. You got to be uncomfortable so your body can release that and your blood could circulate and your lungs and heart could get pumping. If I'm telling you, is when you doing your program and now we on the body, if you don't have a cardiovascular system, knowing that the number one killer in America is heart disease, then we working backwards. So get you one that work for you and one that you could do for a lifetime. Like you cycling, this man getting ready to travel, and he gonna tell me he got his bike packed up. They've already researched, talking about that planning, already researched the route that they're gonna ride the bike on, doing this week and all that, man. That's important. And even just listening to Derrick Brooks, how he taking me back to some of those principles we talked about, work ethic, accountability, grind, the no excuses mentality, all this just working together, man. So before we go, man, and I know because that show between you and Brooks, I am still soaking up all that greatness. But I know we on championship mentality with the body. Get you a nice cardiovascular one that you could do the rest of their life. One of my older clients, she still skate. She's 70 years old, but skating is her thing. So do what's best for you, man. But don't be in that group that's just lifting weights and never getting any cardiovascular done because your heart is important.
Absolutely. Coach, it's simple math. I love you. I appreciate you. I miss
you. Love for life, bro.
I missed you last week. Appreciate you, brother. Championship mentality all the way through. And we got this workout program that I got to introduce to you, something else that I kind of came up on. I think you're really, really going to be intrigued by this one.
I'm excited.
Always doing something else. And that's the lesson. Listen, thank you all. Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Coach, for just always coming through with the pureness of why our relationship is what it's been. As I just round up at the end of this, it's just like I get a chance to speak to people who I would never have these type of conversations with, right? And so Derrick Brooks, for me, a lot of people looked at him as competition because I always tell the story of how I said am I better than Derrick Brooks? I may be better than Derrick Brooks right now. It wasn't really about being better than Derrick Brooks. It was about being better than the person that everybody else thought I was. I'm gonna give you a key to life. Never let nobody tell you who you are. Dictate who you are. And when you grab a cardiovascular system, I'm telling you this, it will challenge you in ways that the only thing you can do is go back at it day after day. There's no way to beat it. The only way you beat it, seriously, is finding a partner who pushes you to the next level. Listen, I'm honored to speak to D Brooks. Honored. God bless you. Thank you guys for joining me. We are back on it. And now that we're on this body, I'm telling you, I need before pictures. We need to see it all. And I need you to ask yourself before New Year's come up, before the holidays come up, what are you committing to? This week is about physically, what cardiovascular system are you committed to?
Wow.
God bless you. Absolutely no excuses. Thank you for joining the Ray Lewis Show. And guess what? We out.